This is Munich's strangest building. It is the Löwenturm, the Lion Tower, named after the founder of the city, Henry the Lion. But what was its function? Perhaps a look inside will help me find an answer. So there's no door here on that front side, maybe here. No, there's just the gutter on this side, so there's no entrance. Let's check here to the right. May I be able to enter there? No, I can't. Upper, no, just a window. Also no way to enter the tower. Maybe here, behind here. No. Nothing here. Let's check once again behind here. Nope, no door. No door, so I guess I have to climb up and climb over one of the windows. And no joke, this is actually the only way into the tower these days. You need a crane to get in through the window at the top. So that doesn't help to clarify what kind of tower this is. But fortunately there is a plaque on the tower explaining its function. It says, Löwenturm, legendary remnant of the first city wall of Henry the Lion, 12th century. Well, that was easy. Well then, nice that you watched, like and subscribe, see. Unfortunately, this statement has now been archaeologically refuted. The sign is definitely wrong. The built-over remains of the first city wall were found 15 meters north of the tower. In addition, old city maps indicate that the tower would have stood in the middle of the old city moat. Not possible. If you take a closer look at the masonry, you can also see that it is too thin for a 12th century defense tower. Today, it is assumed that the tower dates from the 14th century. There are older paintings in which you can see the tower connected to buildings. During the Second World War, however, the buildings were burned out by bombs. The remains were demolished in the 1950s. Since then, the tower has stood alone. However, it is known that the rooms in the tower were only accessible through the buildings. The tower itself has no stairs inside. So even if you were to climb into a window, you would only be able to admire one of its 7 floors. The 4th floor in particular is richly decorated with murals. The motif of the griffin is especially common here. This indicates that the tower has been used for representative purposes, at least in part, since the 15th century. Unfortunately, I can't show you any pictures because I haven't found any that aren't protected by copyright. But I will link a few newspaper articles where you can get an impression. There's something else you notice when you look at old pictures. The tower here has no battlements. In fact, these were only added in 1895. Earlier models of the town, though, indicate that the tower already had battlements in the 16th century. The tower used to be located above the Angererbach stream. Munich was crisscrossed with mill streams until the 19th century. Today there are only a few left. The best known is probably the Eisbach, where river surfers surf the wave at the entrance of the Englischer Garten. The direct positioning of the tower over the stream has led to various speculations. One idea is that the tower had a function as a dam and weir, but there is no archaeological evidence for this at all. Others have speculated that it was part of an irrigation system for the suburban gardens. But the Angererbach was primarily used for water disposal and not for water supply. In other words, all garbage and waste was dumped in the stream. You wouldn't want to dump such a stinking broth on your vegetables and flowers. But that leads to another speculation, which in turn is very likely. The tower had oriel windows with a toilet, so you could do your business directly into the stream. But if you look at the narrow width of the tower, this cannot apply to all floors. Otherwise, you would be on your neighbor's head. You know what I mean. But this function could also have been added later. There is still no completely conclusive theory as to what function the tower originally had. My speculation is that it was once a representative building for wealthy merchants, just like rich companies build skyscrapers today. Do you have a better idea? Let me know in the comments. By the way, the 25-meter high Löwenturm is located on the Rindermarkt. That's just south of Marienplatz. And if you ever want to visit Munich, here's my homepage and email address. I'd be happy to show you the city. Until the next video, Philip.